What if the thing you love the most, the thing you poured your heart into, the thing that's been a purpose-driven piece of your soul is what you're afraid to charge for? Okay, I do want to see a show of hands. Today we're talking about retreats, purpose-driven business and money. We're rewriting the story that you can't have both. Today, I'm joined by guest Erin, and she is a retreat strategist, business coach, and someone who went from teaching yoga and Pilates to selling her business and building a space that she helps owners to build sold-out retreats and creating businesses that serve them both with their purpose and their profit. You can have both, and she shows you exactly how to do it. Now, before we jump into her amazing story and her human design chart, we're going to do our power piece pause. All right, so I know all you guys are multitasking, and I just want you to take these 2 minutes just to have a break. So just pause what you're doing, just come into your body, and just give me 2 minutes, and then you can start feeling this episode and this conversation and your thoughts on money and how that all comes together. This moment is for you. I want you sitting down, close your eyes. And I want you to rub your hands together, your palms together if you're able to. Feel the ridges of your palms. Now, you can put your hands in your lap or wherever is comfortable. I want you to visualize your dream. Visualize that thing that just feels like the destination, but it's in the future. And maybe it has some resistance because it's such a big dream. That's where I want you to be. I want you to say to your soul, I am worthy of being paid well for that dream. I am worthy of being paid well for that dream. I am worthy of being paid well for that dream. Money isn't a barrier, it's a bridge. You're allowed to want it. You're allowed to have it. You're allowed to create as much as you want. It's not about wanting certain things. It's about wanting what you want. The freedom that comes with that. Is it travel? Is it security? Is it that purse that you've been wanting? Is it that vacation that you've been wanting to take your family on? Is it not worrying about where the next thing is coming from? Or is it about scaling your dream so big that your exit strategy is millions of dollars? What's your big dream? Feel that dream within your body. Feel your body accepting that dream without any barriers or conditions or how-tos or whatever it is. How does that feel? Giving yourself the real permission to have. All right, come back to this space. Great job. Feeling more peace come into your body. Good work. Now, we're going to jump into this episode with Erin, and I just can't wait for you to get to know her, to jump into her world, and to see her human design gifts and how she is bringing that to her business and the world. All right, we'll see you in the episode. Erin, Erin, thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm so excited to dive into this beautiful topic and your human design chart.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited, one, to talk about the topic, but I am such a nerd when it comes to human design and the Enneagram and astrology and all of the things. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say.
This will be great. So, Erin, take us back to your early days of yoga and Pilates. What drew you into that world of teaching and serving?
Yeah. So interestingly, it all started before I got into that. I was a musical theater major. I was a musical theater major. I grew up in a theater professional family. I was a ballet dancer. So movement and music were always like at the core of everything that I did in my life. And when I graduated from college and decided that I did not want to be a theater professional like my parents, I decided that I actually wanted to make money. And as successful as my parents were in the theater industry, which they are, their level of success was not what I wanted for my success from a financial standpoint. And I realized very quickly after having the Myers-Briggs test done that I needed to be an entrepreneur. Like the entire test came back entrepreneur, entrepreneur, entrepreneur. And I was like, but I'm a musical theater major. So I was like, if I'm going to go into business, I have to do something that I'm passionate about. And naturally, as a dancer, I loved Pilates and yoga. And so I opened up a Pilates and yoga studio. And it was an interesting journey because I went into it with a very different mindset than most people. I went into it saying, I'm doing this to make money, but I'm also doing something that I enjoy doing, but I want to make money. And so I had this business model of running a profitable business. And if my business was profitable, my clients would be profitable too in their results that they received from the studio.
Got it. And so when did you like oftentimes when women are in the service-based industry, right? Of like yoga, Pilates or coaching or whatever it is, they're like, well, do I feel like I should make money, or am I giving just like my Reiki healing is in and of itself is like the full thing. How did you like
Yeah.
transform from just being like I'm healing and helping and serving to I gotta like actually make money? I mean, we have to live.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in the wellness industry, particularly, there is this huge discrepancy between making an impact and also earning an income. And a lot of people in the industry see those as two completely separate things. That if I'm going to make an impact, I have to be poor and destitute and I can't make any money. Or if I'm going to have financial abundance and if I'm going to make a lot of income, that means that I'm not going to make an impact. I'm not going to serve. And I don't believe that the two are mutually exclusive. I actually believe that the more income I make, the more impact I have because I'm not tired. I'm not bitter. I'm not drained. I'm not like all of these things that prevent me from serving at my highest level. So the more income I earn, the more financially abundant I am, the more I am able to abundantly serve others and have a greater impact.
Yes. And I think this idea that money is just energy and what we bring to it is exactly what we get out of it, just with anything in life. And so people come to the money with feeling like this scarcity or feeling like this, I don't deserve it or I can't have this. But you sold your first business for multiple 5-figure takeaway. And what did that teach you about like the possibility and your value?
Well, and I'm going to say a multiple six-figure takeaway. Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I sold it for a lot, 40 times my original investment, in fact, is how
Oh
much I
my
sold it
gosh.
for, which is unheard of in the boutique fitness industry. And by having a profitable business that I was able to sell to a new set of owners who had a new mission and a new purpose of serving, I was now able to serve people in a different way. If I didn't have the resources and that like lump sum payout, which was pretty good to be able to support me, I wouldn't have been able to open up my other businesses, which are now serving even more people at greater levels.
Yes. So it's almost like the ability to have that financial freedom, the financial backing allows you to serve at a greater capacity
Mhm.
and a greater magnitude
Yeah.
to help touch so many lives. And you are like touching so many lives with your sold out retreats over and over and over again. What do you feel like is do you feel like the X factor behind that? You know, because again, you're stepping into making money at your retreats and making them sold out and not having to come into it with this like scarcity, like, oh, I don't hope this can happen, you know, type of thing. What's
Yeah.
the
Well, the X factor, I think you're going to be the one
yes.
to shine a light on that when you explain my human design. But I would say that I have always been somebody who doesn't like fall for the status quo. I've
Mm.
always been somebody who is kind of a disruptor and I have to do it my own way. And so I just don't naturally subscribe to this notion that we have to give of ourselves and give of our services for free simply because we believe that everybody should have access to it. I really believe that if you make your services accessible to everyone, you're not really making them accessible to anyone, especially yourself. And so, yeah, maybe my X factor is I just don't believe what other people believe.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I've always been the one who's been like, "Well, I disagree with that, and here's why."
Yes, right. Well, and it is just about accepting the thought that I am being willing to be paid for what I'm worth, what I'm bringing to the table. And oftentimes, that mindset shift of just wait a second, recognizing, that's not a lane I want to stay into where I'm scarce or where I'm feeling like I have to like lower my prices even more or the whole pricing thing. My clients, they get pricing anxiety all the time. And I'm like, what's the number that's coming to your heart? You know, look at your
Mhm.
costs
Mm.
and what's the number that's coming to you? And that number is an emotional connection, you know? And it is really about doing what you love and being paid for what you're
Mhm.
doing, what you're bringing to this world.
Yeah, and I actually here's an example of me pushing back a little bit. I
Yeah.
actually do not subscribe to the belief that the number has to feel good or what number comes to
Mm.
because we are so desensitized and we don't
Good
know what
point.
feels good or what feels good. It feels good because it's wrapped up in all of this other brainwashing and self-limiting beliefs and all of that. So I
Mm.
actually believe in just like doing the math
Oh,
and like do the math and I have a very specific mathematical formula that I trademarked. How much do you have to pay yourself? Not how much do you want to pay yourself, but how much do you have to pay yourself in order to have X, Y, and Z? How
mhm.
much do you have to charge in order to pay all of your expenses? And then on top of that, we have to bake in a profit margin, and it should be a minimum 30%. And so,
Mm.
based on that, this is how much you have to charge. And nobody feels good about that number at first. Nobody, which is why I
Yes.
don't like the what feels good to you number because I'm like,
Yeah.
everybody sees it as like, hell no, I can't do that. No, no, and it takes some
Yes.
time. And it's like, okay, so let's talk about why you had such an adverse reaction to that number. Let's break it down. And then eventually getting them comfortable and coming around to, I see, this is a choice. And if I don't
Yes.
charge that much, I'm making a choice about the type of life that I'm going to live. And it's not the life that I want to live.
Yeah.
So if I want X, Y, and Z, and the math told me I have to charge this, I have to charge this. And then it's
Yeah.
kind of just a matter of like, get over it.
Do the work behind saying that
Yeah.
that number is of value, and I really love that it's taking it's looking at the logical side of things, you know,
Mhm.
looking at what makes a business run and being like, here's what we need to happen and putting in those buffers so
Yeah.
that it can be a satisfying journey.
Yeah.
So it can be full of strategy and not necessarily, and it shines a light on like, hey, the mindset work that you need to do in order to say, because this is what it is. Do you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, fill in the
And
gaps.
and most of the time you're gonna freak out about the number and it's not
Yeah.
gonna feel good. And you're gonna be like, no, there's no way in the world I can charge that amount. But then when you're able to deconstruct that and you're
Yes.
able to say, well, why do I feel that way? Why did I have such a who else charges at these rates? How successful
Yes.
are they? Why can't I? Da 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 da. Like
I
once you
love it.
do that work and there's something so neutral about math because it doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have an opinion. It doesn't care one way or another. Math is just math. It is what it is. 2 plus 2 will always be 4. You cannot argue
Yes.
with it. And so when you also have the math backing it up, then you can do all the inner work to
Mhm.
actually get yourself on board with the price because you do have to be on board with the price, right? You
Yes.
can't just like do the math and say, well, to hell with it. I don't feel great about this, but I'm going to go with it anyway. No, no, no. You
Yes.
actually have to do the mindset work to get on board with it. But knowing
Yeah.
that you have to do the work because the math told you that you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and really that like feeling the energy of that number, you know, feeling like whatever we put out into the world is what comes back, you know?
Mhm.
So if we're stating a certain number and we're like, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, that's what's going to come back. But if we're calm and
Yeah.
approach it with peace,
Yeah.
we have there's this huge investment on the ROI of peace, and it comes back in income and it comes back every single time. And so really like accepting that number and working with the mind to really get to a place where you can say it without shrinking or without scarcity or
Yeah.
without whatever, you know? So that feel good is like you have to do the work as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mm. Oh.
It
Yeah.
feels lighter, da da da, you know, and then I'm like, okay. And then other times I'll do a price for somebody and the price, you know, will be 22, 22, and they're like, I don't like it because I don't like angel numbers. Like my audience doesn't like it. If they see 2020, if they see 22, 22, they're going to roll their eyes. And I'm like, okay, well then let's take it up to 22, 29. Or, you know, and so you do have to get on board with it. But if you notice, I round up. I
Yes.
never round down.
Yes. And that is so beautiful. And Erin, really, your journey is so rooted in your human design and what you're bringing to this world of heart and intuition and strategy. And so let's look at your human design chart.
Ooh,
So
I'm excited.
I know this is so great. So you're a generator,
Uh-huh.
and a kind of generator is going to have a bunch of energy. It's going to be this go, go, go energizer bunny. And one of the things on your chart is your signature feeling is this satisfaction. And so this is as you're following what lights you up, you feel really satisfied. Satisfied can feel really good. It can feel energized. It can feel full of purpose and it can feel really aligned. And on the flip side of that is so the satisfaction is you know you're going in the right direction. You're feeling really good about this direction you're going into. On the flip side is you're not self-theme. And this is a sign that you're not living your design. You're not living in alignment with your
Mhm,
purpose and your journey. And it's frustration. And
mhm.
frustration can feel like heaviness. It can feel like blah. It can feel like, you know, I'm not lit up or excited or passionate. I just feel like, you know, and this is really a red flag for like looking at the circumstances of your business, your life, and seeing what's out of alignment and seeing maybe have I said yes to things I need to say no to, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh my goodness. This is right on. It actually reminds me of in 2018 when I
Mhm.
sold my studio, when I
Yes.
was, forging this new path in the coaching space. I was really set on this idea that I had to coach other studio owners because that is the business that I came from.
Mm.
And I was really frustrated in that I was doing all the things I was supposed to
Yes.
be doing and I just wasn't making headway. And like when I tell you frustration, frustration, frustration. So I hired a gift activation coach. And immediately in like one conversation, as she's asking me to talk about my business, and she's like, okay, walk me through what are the things that you do? The moment I talked about, and then I help them restructure their pricing, she's like, your energy, everything changed. You completely lit up. The frequency that you were speaking at changed. The actual, like everything about it changed. And she says, so what if you get rid of everything else? Just say no to everything else and only focus on pricing, pricing, pricing.
Mhm.
And as soon as I did, and I said, okay, I'm going to trademark my pricing overhaul method and become known as the go to pricing expert, everything changed. And it really did light me up. It's
Oh,
so interesting that that it's in my human design.
yes. Yeah. And for a generator, that is the greatest signal to keep going down the path is that light up, that passionate energy. And then looking at like how to protect that. So when people want to access your time and your gifts, because as a generator, you can do a lot of things. People look to you and like, oh, Erin can do this, or oh yeah, or you just say yes to a lot of things because you can.
Yeah.
How do you protect your energy when it's being accessed and you're like, oh, not feeling this
Yeah.
direction?
So, it's interesting. Now I own 5
Mm.
companies. I'm either the sole owner or I'm a partner across 5 different companies. And each one is very in alignment with a deep true passion, which is why I have said yes. But I have also learned that at this point, what I'm able to give of myself is limited. And so, for instance, like I don't just hop on consultation calls with people. I don't just when somebody reaches out and they, hey, can we chat? Can I pick your brain? I don't just do that anymore. I've created a body of work and a body of work that's accessible to anybody. I wrote a best-selling book. I have a lot of free resources on 2 of my businesses, that anyone can access at any time. And I'm really particular about who I'm going to get on the phone with. And then for anybody else out there who just wants to like pick my brain or have an idea, da 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 da, da, it's like, because otherwise I
Yes.
would be on consultation, discovery, brain picking calls all day, every day. And I
Yes.
can't do it.
Yes. Yeah. So it's saying that no and getting really clear on like, okay, what do I want to be focused in on?
Mhm.
What is distracting from my energy and kind of like sleuthing that out? Like, wait a second, I've said yes to this and it should be a
Yeah.
no, and I need to reevaluate and go on. So, also on your human design chart is your design sense. Now, your design sense is vision, and this is how you manifest best is you're a visual manifester. So, meaning that things start to become really clear for you when you see them clearly, like either physically or in your mind. But if you're like, oh, I want to retreat, like your Slovenia retreat, I would
Right.
love to hear about this because I don't know was because what is best for you is to like see a picture of that retreat space, see it come, and then it comes towards you. So I would love to hear,
Yeah.
yeah, like,
So it's interesting because I've dabbled in the woo.
oh,
Okay, can I say woo? I've
yeah, love
I've
it.
I've dabbled in the woo, and my actually yesterday was the 4-year anniversary of my dad's passing, and really
Oh, I'm so
since then
sorry.
I've heavily leaned into the woo, and I've seen psychics and angel mediums, and I've gotten into this human design. I've done astrocartography. I've done all the things, and I'm really into it. And I have been told that I am a very fast manifester. And recently, I wanted to host a retreat in Slovenia where my mom's family is from. It's like a second home to me. It's so beautiful, special place, like in my heart. It's just, and it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet,
Yeah.
and nobody knows about it. It's like so untouched. And I found a castle where I wanted to host this retreat, but they were only renting out 6 rooms. And I just had this vision. I was like, that castle can not only have 6 rooms. There have got to be more rooms. How do I get this whole castle? And every time I was talking to somebody over phone or email, it was like nope, it's only 6 rooms. I said, you know what? I'm going to fly to Slovenia and I'm going to do an on-site visit. And I walked into this castle, and sure enough, all of that like intuition that I had in the past about, no, there are more rooms, there are more rooms. I walked in and there were 11 rooms. And I'm like, why hasn't anybody like said this? And they're like, oh, these are historically preserved rooms. The only people who have slept in these rooms are presidents, Queen Elizabeth, Obama, like all these people. They've never been opened up just to government agencies and royalty and da 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 da. And I just had this deep sense that I could get this castle. And I just said, what do I have to do to get all of the rooms in the castle? And sure enough, they submitted the application for approval with the Slovenian government. And right before I left for the airport to fly home, I got an
Yes.
email saying, you can have the whole castle.
Oh my
So
God.
my Slovenia retreat is in this 13th century castle, and 5 of the rooms have never been slept in by a private entity before, a private individual outside of like a president, royalty, dignitary. It's
My
like
goodness.
crazy.
That's freaking awesome. Well, and the mantra behind this for you is when I see it clearly, I call it in effortlessly. So the effortless nature of you calling this in, when you see it, you are following exactly how you create things is by seeing it, by feeling it, by allowing it to come to you, and then not allowing any roadblocks or barriers to get in the way of that thing, figuring it out, going to the next thing, you know? So
It's always just I think I've had this deep-rooted sense of just ask for what you want. Like there's no harm in asking, and you'll certainly never get it if you don't ask or don't try. Kind of the same thing with
yes.
pricing. Just like say
Yes.
this is how much it is.
Yeah. Why not me? Shoot your
Why
shot.
not?
You know,
Right.
like,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
So
Well,
like
and
what do I have to do to get this castle?
yeah, yes, totally. And I think that's so like such a beautiful way to approach life and to approach business is to like, what can I do? What do I want? And how do I go and get it? And not taking this internal no, because that's the no that stops us first, is that internal no. And then we're like, well, I guess I can, I guess I won't, I guess whatever, you know? And
Right.
it shapes our whole lives. But that internal no needs to be stopped. And then everything can be ours, you
I
know?
agree. I
So,
agree.
yeah. One other part on your human design chart is when you're looking at the body graph, there's all these centers and colored in green, colored in white. They're in different shapes. Now, the one that I want to look at for you is colored in white. And so this is an undefined center. Now, oftentimes people like overlook their undefined centers.
Okay.
And they're like, but there's so much beauty to be had there, and there's so much good self awareness to be had there. So, the heart center, which is the one we're going to look at, the heart center is all about willpower and going forward with willpower. Now, in the female founder space, right? We all like, I gotta have willpower for days, you know? But your willpower comes in ebbs and flows. It's gonna come and hit sometimes, and sometimes it's not, you know? It's gonna come in these waves, but it's also really connected to other people's willpower. You know, if you're in a space with people that are like, whoa,
Oh my goodness.
you just get this flood of yes, you know? Okay, tell me your reaction. I'm like,
I got
yes.
this downloaded, hit me. I was like, so I'm a huge believer in putting yourself in rooms where you think you don't belong
Mm,
and with people who are doing more than you are doing. So you never want to be the biggest fish in the room. You always want to be the one who has the least amount of experience, who is the least quote unquote successful, who hasn't done as much. Because when you put yourself in spaces like that, it forces you to up level. You attach to their energy and you're like, oh my goodness, what are they doing? So in that with like the willpower, I very much intentionally put myself in spaces where I am not the expert. And I think that's also why I love hosting retreats because I want to create spaces for people, not just women. My retreats
Yes.
are open to all genders, all gender identities. And this is everyone is welcome. I don't care. And I just want a place for humans to come to put themselves in places with people who are doing different things than they are, who are doing maybe
Mm.
more than they're doing, who are more seasoned than they are, so that you can attach yourself to that energy. And it's through that that you're able to then up level. And when I'm not in those spaces,
Yeah.
that's when I feel like my energy and my willpower and my like desire is kind of like, now I'm like, okay, I got to get in another room. I got to get in another room.
Yes. Well, and that self-awareness is so important. Instead of being hard on ourselves and being like, why can't I just muscle through this? What's wrong with me? It can be like, hey, I need support. So I need to get in the room. I
Mhm.
need to network in certain arenas. I need
Right.
to go and do something and be proactive about fueling that. So on the flip side, do you ever feel pressure to prove yourself?
Yes, all the time.
Okay, tell me about that.
All the time, all the time. I grew up in a family of like way like over the top
Of achievers.
overachievers who everything we've done, it comes easily to us and we're good
Mhm.
at it. And I just think it's because we only do the things that come easy to us and we're good at. We're very
I got you.
intentional about doing that.
Yes.
But I actually think that that goes in alignment with we're only doing the things that light us up. And by the
Mm.
nature of doing things that light you up, you're naturally going to be good at it. I
Yes.
think. And so, did that answer your question? So I do feel
Yes.
like all the time there's a pressure to perform. I come from a
Yes.
theater background. I think that at a certain level, I've succeeded. I've had a lot of success.
Yes.
I'm very well known in the industry. I have a best-selling book. And with that comes this feeling of you always have to be at a certain level.
Yes.
And maybe another reason I love retreats is because I can just be myself and people are always like, "Oh my God, like you're just a real person and you're kind of just like me." And I'm like, "Yes, I'm just like you."
Yes.
I'm not anything like special. All of us have it. All of us have the potential to be quote unquote special. It's
Yes.
just like knowing what you have to lean into. That's like special for you.
Yes. And that pressure, it's releasing that judgment on ourselves and knowing that we're going to bring good things to the table and that we don't need to prove we already have the worth within us. We already are doing the things and really celebrating the process. I think that's what helps me to get out of pressure
Yeah.
is to celebrate. Oh, look at what I've already done.
Yeah.
What the frick? This is awesome. It's amazing. So, one of the things also on your chart that's really helping you to move these mountains is another center on your chart. It's at the bottom of your body graph.
Okay.
It's colored in green, so it's defined,
Is
which
it the
means
sacral
it's your root center.
root center? Okay.
Yes. So you always have this gift of being able to move mountains, the drive to get it done. It's like giving your generator self an extra oomph.
Okay.
And so you thrive on momentum, you thrive on
Mhm.
deadlines, you thrive on building. It's a really steady engine to support your dreams. The mantra for this is I have everything I need to move mountains. You have it all within you. So, where do you notice this drive showing up the most in your business and retreats?
I do believe that. Okay, prime example, when I wrote my book,
Mhm.
the download came to me that I wanted to write a book. I was in the room with the right people. I met a woman who is a book coach and a self-publishing agent, and I approached her at the coffee bar and I was like, I have this idea for a book. Like, I went for it and I very specifically had a deadline. I was like, and I want to do it in 6 weeks because I'm going to Africa and I don't want to have this project looming over me when I'm on safari with my family. And she's like, 6 weeks is pretty aggressive.
Yes, I was thinking that too. I'm like, wow.
She's like, 6 weeks is pretty aggressive. And I'm like, no, actually, I think 6 weeks is very reasonable. I could write 3 chapters a week, da 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 da. Da. And so I definitely, as soon as you said that
Yeah.
thing about the deadlines and moving mountains,
Yes.
she's like, I just don't know if that's possible. And I'm like, no, give me a deadline and I can make it happen.
Okay, that is the best. Oh my goodness. And it really is. It's like how you accomplish things is with that drive and knowing as you have bigger and we always have the next goal coming,
Mhm.
that you'll have the drive in order to reach that. And so our brains oftentimes tell us to play small, tell us to not dream, but it's like
Yeah.
flipping the script and being like, wait a second, I was born to do this. And this is the gift that I'm bringing to the table in order to get it done?
Yeah.
So, is there a dream or big vision that you're currently moving towards? Your next
Yeah.
mountain?
Yeah, my next I've got so many.
Yes.
So next dream is owning a property in France. I want to own a second property there. I want to turn it into a flagship retreat venue where I can host one of my retreats annually, but also rent it out to other retreat leaders who want to host their retreats there. So that's like on the horizon. One of my 5 companies is called Wine Retreats. And we are registered in Germany, in Saarbrücken, right on the French border. And so it's just like another path for me because within 4 months I'll have a EU work visa, which is like kind of the next stepping stone to, okay, can I also have a retreat venue there?
Goodness, Erin, that's amazing. That is so beautiful. And again, you're going to find a way to move that mountain. Um, and on your chart, when we're looking at the body graph, so we have those centers. We also have these lines, they're little road maps on the body graph. Now, when they're colored in, they're also layers of your personality and gifts that you were born with. And so you have a gate 51, which is one of the lines
Okay.
on there. And this is the mantra for this is I lead with boldness that wakes people up to their own power. You have this ability to kind of shake people awake, with courage and boldness, but also with a heart-led leadership. And it shows up
Aw.
as you're leading them to these unexpected changes and to this newness of their life that they can have. Do you feel like that has been a part of your purpose in this,
Mhm.
especially in this retreat space, right?
100%,
Yeah.
100%. Literally every business that I've had in the pricing overhaul business
Yes.
and in
Yes.
my luxury in business retreats business, I very much my favorite. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So page 3 of my book, I say shut the fuck up. And it's literally just like anytime the negative Nelly is like telling you you can't do something, you just have to look her in the face and say shut the fuck up. Thank you for like trying to protect me, but also you're not welcome here. And so I have this energy. I've always said that like people either love me
Mhm.
or they very strongly dislike me. There's like no in between. And a lot of the people who strongly dislike me, like I rub them the wrong way immediately. They do come around to me. Not all of them. Some of them like stay very clear. I don't like her. But a lot of them come around after they start to see on the flip side of the boldness and almost the shock factor
Yeah.
of like, she said that to shock me
Yeah.
to get me to like, and then on the
Yes.
other side of it, it's like warm and supportive.
Yes. And it really is that balance move of like people need that wake up moment of like,
Mhm.
whoa, get it to, like
Yeah.
whatever that comes to you, making sure that you share and again, that following up with that balance of the heart centered, I care about you. And this is why I'm saying this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the beauty that comes with it.
This is crazy.
I know. I cannot make this stuff up. And literally, there's so
You
many.
just met me yesterday.
I know, Erin. I know. And this is all based on like a dime and a time and a place and a date of birth. And it's just so I have read hundreds and hundreds of people's charts all over the world. And every single time people have this reaction of like, this is so me. Oh my gosh.
It
I
is.
did, like I've been doing this, but I wasn't intentional or aware that
Uh-huh.
it's what makes me special. It's what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
And so I always think about like as I lean into my human design, how can I utilize this gift even more? That
Yeah.
takes it a step further to feel this conversation. It's so great.
I think you have to do a human design retreat.
Yes,
Like
I
you
know.
need to host one and get people somewhere like really
Yes,
magical and like a
yes,
really spiritually open place and just
yes.
do like a week of deep diving human design.
Yes, I have had people ask me all the time, when are you going to do a retreat? When are you going to do a retreat? It's in my own head, as you know, like,
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, but I have got to get to that place where I'm like, yes, I'm ready. And it's
Yeah.
coming. I can feel it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So Erin, like, bringing it back to the women that are listening, and
Mhm.
if they're having all our listeners, they're having a hard time charging and consistently not making the money that they need to make, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I would first say lean into the math. I
Mm,
do have a free sample of my book available. I think you're going to drop that in the show notes
yes.
that they can download the free sample. I would say either listen to the full book on audio or get a full copy of the book and just do the exercise of the math just so that you
Mm,
can see what the math tells you. It's kind of like
yes.
you're deciding, I know I need to lose weight, but oh God, I don't want to. Like, what do you have to do? You have to step on the scale to see where you are, and you have to start tracking like your inputs and outputs. What are you putting in your body and what type of exercise? And this is the same in that if you're wanting to make a change, the first thing is to just do the math. And I make it very easy. It's very easy. Like 1 + 2 is 3 math. It's super, super easy. And just like look at what the math, read the story that the math is telling.
Mm.
And then from there, you can make changes.
Yes. Yeah. Lead into the logical side in order
Yeah.
to jump with your emotions, with
Mhm.
your mindset, with your curating that piece,
Yeah.
is so beautiful. So again, you told them about jumping into your world through your book, because I really want to make sure that everybody gets into your world, gets onto that book, and we'll have that in the show notes as well for you. So
Thank you. And then also for those of your
yeah.
listeners who are retreat professionals, I have a do have a free resource. I have a downloadable guide with my top 5 tips for hosting profitable retreats. So you notice pricing, profit, everything is kind of in the same vein. So I do have those 2 resources that I'm happy to give to your audience.
That would be amazing. Oh, that would be perfect. And we'll have those in the show notes for
Perfect.
everybody. Yeah, that sounds really good. Erin, again, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been so amazing.
I'm so excited. And like it was like we happened to meet each other on like a random online mixer. And now here we are.
I know it was so meant to be. And I was following the feeling to go to this mixer because we talked about how did I get across. And I was like, honestly, I don't even know.
No.
But I just like follow the feeling. And so
All
this has
right.
been so great, Erin.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, this is awesome. And thank you all listeners for being on. And if you're ready to see what makes you extraordinary, head to CourtneyKoenig.com, pull your human design chart, see the insights that I give that are especially for you. Because as you lean into what the gifts that you were born with, you're going to find this peace and joy and success with ease. We'll see you in the next episode. Wasn't that so amazing? Oh my goodness, I came away with pages of notes and intentions that I've been feeling. And what I want you to do now is one thing, okay? I want you to either sit with the feeling that you've had during this episode. I want you to look at your notes and I want you to focus in on that one thing that you can do going forward. As human beings, we get so inspired by inspiring podcasts and speakers. And then we forget to zone in on one thing. And so I want you to focus in on that one thing that you can do moving forward. I'm going to give you just a pause because you know I like a pause, and a pause is easier to do with people. So I want you to pause and think of that one thing. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to write that one thing down, because as human beings, we always forget. I always forget too. And so I want you to write that thing down, either put it in the notes on your phone, put it on a sticky that you'll see different places. I want you to have that so you can go back to and reflect over and over again, because these episodes aren't just for you to inspire you in the moment, they're to inspire your actions going forward in the next moments. And I'm here to back you up. And I'm so grateful you're here. One thing I would love for you to do as we get these messages out more and more, the thing that can help this podcast, and it can help me out so much, is for you to go like and subscribe and share these episodes. It's so easy. It just takes a second, but it helps other people to find these episodes. It helps the podcast to get out there, and I so appreciate it. So if you